Hello, Twin Minds here. Welcome back to Autonauts. So, there have been some changes. And much like last time, I have many things I'd like to do, and I have no idea how many of them I'll be able to get to. So, let's go over the changes first. First off, I have prepared a few additional colonist seeds. Nothing too fancy there. I have redone my bot workshop. Previously it was over here, and it was just building these basic bots, and I decided I needed to upgrade. So I've gotten a few, and I've got it all automated. So we need basically a head, a body, and a drive. Each one of those is being built by a separate robot. This one was so complex, or rather, it had so many different parts that I had to actually build a fancier bot to have enough memory to build the fancier bots. Once all three of those components are done, the bot assembly unit here is being fed by two of the basic bots with all three of these parts, and it makes another bot. It's fairly simple, actually. It's not too terribly different than building the basic bots. It's just an extra step of having to build the individual parts first. Now over here is mostly for my personal use at the moment, to build the various upgrades that are available. What I've been focusing on are the sonic boots for speed, or the sonic sneakers for speed. And basically you just put sneakers on your wheeled robots somehow, and they go faster. That's all I needed. So I have taken the time to upgrade my charging robots, since they're the ones that move around the most and need to kind of get where they need to be as fast as possible. So all three of them, the Wanderer and Duracell and Energizer, have all three been upgraded. And there's two different methods to dealing with the robots. First, build a new one. This is the easiest method, and reprogram it to do what you want. Or you can take each individual part and heck, why not? Let's show how that works. Take a part. Hold control. Sorry, it has to be a bot that isn't currently in use here. So let's use my spare bot here. Hold control and right click. It replaces their head, you get their spare head, and they now have a new head. And if you do that with body, same thing happens. So control, right click replaces the part, and suddenly you've got a whole new bot. And if you really feel like you want to make use of all these parts, you can put them back on the bench and reassemble them into a fresh bot. Much like that. And then the bot that you upgraded has all of its information from before, as well as whatever upgrades you may have installed. And the new bot is fresh and ready to go. It's kind of pointless, but you know, I'm not really going to upgrade a lot of these bots, so it's not really necessary to upgrade every single one of them. That was more of an example, and I'll have another bot to do stuff with. So that's most of the changes. Oh, I almost forgot the most important change. I moved my tool workshop here, and I have expanded it to all of the other available tools currently. The same process as before, just tell the bot what parts it needs, put them on there, done. So now all of the various tools that I currently have access to are available here, and they are moved closer to both the sticks and stones that are needed to make them, as well as to the bots that are primarily using them, instead of being up in this corner up here, where they were kind of out of the way and making bots take longer to get what they needed. So that was the bigger change that I almost forgot because I had done it a while ago, and I have since left it where it is. Now on to the actual progression. I had previously mentioned that this was taking forever, and it is. I have completed one, and maybe a third of the way towards the next one, and it's taken forever. So what I found out is that the colonists have a level, and if they are a higher level, they produce more WOV. These are single WOV tokens, and if they get to the next higher level, they'll produce 10, or rather a token worth 10 WOV, and those will then do 10 at a time here. Much better. How do we do that? Well, we have to level them up, and to level them up, we need to meet their needs. But before I meet their needs, I want to prepare for that. Because if I meet their needs and they're next leveled up, they actually require the next tier food. And I want to have that food available for them, or they're going to stop producing wealth for me. So, cooking it is. Cooking. Bam. Like that. And I still have all my bots set to build all my blueprints for me, just change their location. Alright, we have our crude mixing pot. Let's see what this does. We have recipes, so these are all level 2 food. We have watery porridge, which requires cereal seeds, fresh water, and clay pots. Cereal seeds come, of course, from the wheat that I haven't actually harvested yet, so I'm not going to worry about that, and I don't know how to make clay pots yet, so that's out of the question. All of the other ones require weeds. And weeds appear to be, in this game at least, a generic term for leafy greens that may be useful in some variety or another. You've got carrot salad, so the weeds are probably acting as a lettuce. You've got spiced berries, so the weeds are acting more as herbs. And then you've got herb mushrooms for herbs. Sashimi, so they're acting more like seaweed or something like that. So yeah, we need weeds. Luckily, I went to go get some weeds, so I have them ready to go. All we gotta do is teach a bot how to plant them. And then harvest them. You bot, come here. I need you to pick up weeds. Repeat that until your hands are full. Now another tip that I learned that is absolutely not shared in the game. Control, click, and drag to select how many components you want to move. Very handy. And then I need you to plant. And they get planted in basic dirt, no digging needed, so this is going to be very simple. I need that to be a smaller area, please. And do that until your hands are empty. And do that. Do that forever. Plant all of the weeds. I could be doing better bots for this, but I don't think I'll need it, and if I do need it, I can upgrade them later. It'll be fine. So he's just going to plant all the weeds. It's not going to be anything fancy. Now I need another bot. And you... I need you to pick up a shovel. And of course do that if your hands are empty. Oh, that's so much nicer than clicking and dragging one at a time that I've been doing. I wish I knew that earlier. Alright, so pick up a shovel if your hands are empty. Come down here and dig a weed. I'm fairly certain these weeds don't spread and cause problems to other crops, but I'm not positive. Alright, do that in a smaller area as well, please. And do all of that forever. I'll probably put a clause in here at some point about the box, but for right now I'm fine with getting as many weeds as possible. The other concern that I have is they need the weeds to replant the weeds, so I can't use the weeds to do the weeds. Don't worry about it. I'll figure out the logic to that later. But for right now, all we need to know is that I need weeds to get more weeds, so I can't use them all. So there will be logic involved. I don't know if I'm going to do logic with the cooking, or if I'm going to do logic with the bot that's planting. We'll figure that out later. Right now I just need weeds, and lots of them. And then I need one more bot doing the collecting. Pick up weeds. Do it in... I don't think they spread too terribly much. But let's extend that out a little bit just to be sure. Find weeds. Repeat until your hands are full. And then dump weeds in box. There we go. Do that until your hands are empty. Do that forever. There we go. So we have a planter, we have a digger, and we have a collector. What I might end up doing is I might end up using one bot for both planting and collecting. And then that would ultimately be the bot that picks it up, plants it if there's space. Anything left over goes in the box to make sure that I always have weeds available. But I don't think I have the brain power in a simple bot to do that, nor my own personal brain power. So I'll deal with that later. For right now, again, weeds. Now that we have weeds, we can cook, and I think I'm going to move this closer for now. It requires 4 of whatever. It doesn't seem to matter what. You know what? Screw it. Pumpkins. I haven't touched the pumpkins since I built them, and they're full. So let's use the pumpkins. Alright, so we need a fresh bot. And you need to grab pumpkin. And this time I'm going to repeat that 4 times. Which I don't usually use too terribly often, but I have found the joy in that recently as I was doing other stuff. And then I need you to dump that in the bowl. Also 4 times. And then we need a weed as well. Just a single weed. So come get a weed. And dump that in here. And for now, let's just set that to do that forever. Since I only have 1 KB free, I'm going to probably need to upgrade this to another bot to have an if clause in there to not constantly produce food forever. But for right now, producing food forever is perfectly acceptable. So the only thing I want to do now is stop that, and I want to finish making this one so I don't have to do logic or figure out how to fix it. So we'll do one by hand just to clean up the bowl. A little bit of sturdy action. And we have a food. Herby pumpkin. Great. Bot, now it's your turn. And then what we can do is we can feed this to the colonists. That didn't do anything too terribly useful right now. However, once they get their next needs met, they have to have herby pumpkin or equivalent to get any sort of benefit. So now we go into the next step of meeting some of their needs. And that is right here, colonization level 2 planning. We need to house them. And I unlocked this ages ago and I never used it. Crude hut. Requires 4 logs. I need 10 of them. 10 of them. So I'm going to help the bots with this because they're slow. I'm not much faster with logs, but, you know, whatever. And then we'll get back to you when all of those are built. Alright. We have 10 crude huts built for our colonists. Now we just got to get them to a place where it's going to be useful. So let's put them here for now. Doesn't have to be too terribly fancy. Then we take a colonist and we put him in his new home. Manju has leveled up. He now has housing, and he's happy with that. Colonists now give WOV times 10 if you meet their needs. Wonderful. Oh, and he got big. Okay, so maybe putting their houses so close together is a little bit unsanitary. They're all kind of kicking each other in the head, and there's probably stuff getting everywhere. Who knows? It's just not going to be great. But for right now, they can be nice and cozy together. Now the next step is we feed one of them with good food. And he gets all happy about that and stands on his head. It's adorable. And I'm curious what this new WOV looks like, if anything. Oh, the new WOV came out. And it is times 10. And if I come over here, it is now times 10. So yeah, each one of those big WOVs is now 10 actions. Whereas it's worth 10 actions versus doing them one at a time. So that's very nice. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to finish building, growing, hatching all of these colonists. We'll get them all into their new homes. Alright, we have our last colonist, which is Mochi, going into their new home. And we need to make a lot of WoW to catch up with this colonization level 2 requirement. But that's okay. We'll get there eventually. For right now, I have the one, or the two that I've used. Now, I did realize where I messed up with this herby pumpkin concoction, and that is I told it to grab 4 pumpkins, and unfortunately, that robot does not have space for 4 things. It only has space for 3. So it does it 3 times, and then puts the pumpkins in, and then goes for the spice, weeds, whatever, and then it just kind of stops. There's a couple ways to fix that. Either I can swap him out with a fancier bot, which has 1 additional space in its hands for 4, or I can give it an upgrade that gives an additional space in its hands. I think for right now, I'm just going to upgrade it. It'll be easier that way. Alright, he is now upgraded. I'll leave his head laying on the floor there for now. And then all I should have to do is tell him to go again. And he should be able to get 4 pumpkins this time. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Now he's got enough hand space to do the pumpkin situation. Great. Okay. Now we also have all of these herby pumpkins being produced. And I have my poor nanny bot over here with no job to do, because I told her to feed all of the basic level colonists. So I need to have a little bit of a discussion with her. So you, let's drop what you're holding right now. I need to re-record, pick up the herby pumpkin from here, and that should be all I need to change. Let's grab these 3, put them up here, take out her apple situation. Also, the if can go away, because I don't need to have her checking for full storage or anything like that. And that should be it, I think. Let's test it out. So she now has 3 herby pumpkins in hand. I see, she doesn't understand nearest colonist anymore. Interesting. Well, let's teach her how to deal with that. Record. Faded colonist. Ah. She needs to know about the huts. Got it. Okay. This can all go away then. This can all go into the until hands empty and go. Now we have happy colonists standing on their heads. Nannybot taking care of them. I also need to take the Love Master here and stop you, edit you to look for WoW in this general vicinity. And instead, I think I need to teach him to pick up the new WoW. I can't put it in there yet, because that's not empty yet. So give me a moment. Alright, so now that box is empty. Just waited till all that research was finished. And then I tell it to drop into there. Okay, so I shouldn't need to adjust this. I can just delete these. Delete that. Replace those in there. And go. Stop. Change size, please. There we go. Much better. So you're going to pick up WoW times 10 this time. And throw it in the box. And since we're upgrading everything to WoW times 10, I need to teach Dr. WoW here to learn what this does. You currently have what in your hands? Ah. I need you to drop that. And then go? Yeah, there we go. That was it. There was just a single WoW stuck in his hands, and he was waiting to fill his hands up, and he couldn't stack WoW 1 and WoW 10. Don't worry about it. It's fixed. And I'll just go ahead and research this one remaining WoW. And now we have essentially roughly 7 times the speed of our research from before. It's not quite 10 times because we switched from 1 to 10, because the 10s have a different processing time to cook in the researcher, as well as different time to produce from the colonists. So I don't know the math. I'm going to give 7 times. Either way, 7 times is good. I like 7 times. So we now have increased the food quality of our colonists. We have given them homes, so they are now happier. And we have also adjusted the research speed to accommodate for the new WoW type. Everything's coming up pretty good. Oh, and don't forget, better bots and better tool production. The colonists are getting better. Everything's going smoothly-ish. So one thing I want to know is what type of food should we focus on? Basically, there's a different tier of food, or there's 7 different tiers of food for each type. So we've got mushrooms, berries, apples, pumpkins, wheat, and I believe fish. Which one should I focus on? Because I don't think I can do all of them. If you want me to attempt to do all of them, by all means, let me know. I will give it a good, solid effort. But which one would you prefer I focus on? Mushrooms, berries, apples, pumpkins, wheat, or fish? Let me know in the comments or in Discord. Either way. For right now, thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.